Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. We are going to be live today with the T Podcast. We have Lacey Viator with the Broussard Chamber of Commerce. She is the president of the Broussard Chamber of Commerce. So we're going to be talking with her about all things Broussard, different events, quality of life, tons of stuff. So stick around and enjoy the show. We're going to be talking about 4th of July too, so that's really cool. So stick around. Alrighty, so real quick before we get started, we're going to talk about our presenting sponsor is Chase Group Construction. They take the lead and become your one point of contact for the entire design build process. Design build, they design it and build it for you. So it's like, I hate to use this word, one-stop shop, but that's essentially what it is. They have a diverse portfolio of projects that range from multi-unit shopping centers, popular restaurants like Fat Pat's in Broussard and in Bro Bridge, several others. I mean, I can't remember all the stuff that he's built, but the Lodge, there's like a pet and grooming boarding place that just opened up in front of Walmart on Pinhook. So great local builder, designer, chasegroupconstruction.com. Check them out. And yeah, let them know that you saw them on our podcast. And if you do, tell them that we sent you. We'll get a little something from it, I guess, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Anyway, great show today. We have Lacey. Go ahead and get that split screen set up here, and then we'll get going. So, Lacey, welcome to the T Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. So, I want to know, with a name like Viator, it sounds like you could potentially be from here, but are you originally from the Lafayette area?
I am actually from Jeanerette. I
Jeanerette,
graduated from New Iberia Senior High School, so
nice.
We try not to tell people I'm from Jeanerette. It's kind of a New Iberia thing.
Yeah. Dude, okay, Jeanerette, that is small place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Small place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about growing up in Jeanerette. When did you leave Jeanerette?
So I left my freshman year of high school and then ended up at New Iberia Senior High, which is where I graduated in 2005. Met my husband, I guess, 15 years later, and then we've been in Youngsville ever since. So,
wait, did you just say you graduated in 2005?
I graduated in 2005. I'm only 29.
You're okay, right. Okay, because it's crazy. I graduated high school in 2005.
Did you?
I did. I was held back in third grade.
I think it's a birthday thing. So my birthday's in December, and that was before the cutoff happened. So my birthday, I graduated as a 17-year-old. So I didn't turn 18
young,
until the December.
Wow. Yeah. I graduated as a 19-year-old.
Well, there you go. So you were driving everybody around then.
Yes. And I had a truck that I was deeply invested in and making it look cool. So I was one of the few guys. They had several other guys too, but they had a fancy truck. I don't have that truck anymore. I wish I did, but yeah, my dad's probably like, man, I should have never gave that guy that truck. But it is what it is. But yeah, I graduated in 2005 too. That is so wild. I did not realize that we were that close in relation as far as age range. So Catan's Eatery just commented. He says, y'all babies, I graduated in 96. Paul bet. All right. Well, man, you're still cool with us. So when did you move to the New Iberia area again?
We didn't move to New Iberia.
You went to school there.
Yeah, I went to school there, and then in probably 2007 or 8, we moved to Lafayette, and then we ended up in Youngsville.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've been in Youngsville since 2011, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you like it in Youngsville?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's growing too.
Yeah. It's kind of like a hometown feel for me, because if you go to the grocery store, it's 3 minutes down the road and you can be back with what you need and get to cooking. You know, Lafayette, you got to catch traffic and go into the big stores, and yeah, it's good. It gives you that little hometown feel.
Yeah, that's what's good about living in the smaller cities outside of Lafayette City, because I live in Karen Crow, and I can do the same thing. Just real quick, go over to Super One, grab what I need, and come right back, and like you said, get to cooking. Yeah, because that's what we do around here. Is we cook. All right, so you moved to the Lafayette area in 2011, roughly. What were you doing? Like, what was your aspirations in high school? Because mine was not to start blogging about businesses and starting a podcast.
No. So I've always wanted to be a nurse. I actually went to the technical college to be a medical assistant. I wanted to do transcribing and all that, and then I was going to go into LPN. That never happened.
You look like you could be a nurse. You have that. You have a nurse face.
I hated school. I am not a good test taker. So
Same.
after that,
I was held back in third grade. I mean, come on.
Actually, I started working at Stellar right out of high school. So that was kind of my job while I was at the technical college.
What were you doing at Stellar?
I worked in their tools department. So I actually packed up the tools, and then I ended up in shipping and receiving. So yeah, it was actually manual labor.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, can you lift 50 pounds? I'm like, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I went inside of Stellar one time to do an interview with Matt, the founder, and the amount of security that place has is wild. It's like you're going through TSA.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
They have the little thing where you have to stand up, put your hands up.
They bring lunch in because it's pointless to leave, because by the time you get wanded out and go, you only have 30 minutes. And then you got to scan back in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the facility is like kind of similar to LHC now. They have their own cafeteria and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can't leave quick.
No, not at all.
And I see people bringing their lunch to Stellar all the time. I'm like, why do they bring their lunch? Like, there's so much food around. Well, they can't get out in time. That's funny.
Nope.
Okay. Okay, so you were working at Stellar, and this is about what time? But, obviously...
That's probably from 2006-ish until about 2008 or 9. And then 2009, I started working for a mortgage company that ended up closing their doors with the recession in 2009.
Okay.
Which is also the time I found out I was pregnant for my son. So that was fun.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So
your first son?
I'm sorry.
First?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my oldest. He's 14. And then after that, I went to Acadian Ambulance. And I worked in their billing department for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
I've been around the block.
Yeah.
Just like my board probably doesn't even know these things about me, by the way.
Okay. We're learning stuff today. Wow. Okay. So Acadian Ambulance, man, you are really just, you're going all the way, you're touching all the major Lafayette businesses here. All right. Yeah. So, you got Stellar and then now Acadian Ambulance. I mean, are you going to tell me that you've worked at LHC as a biller?
I'm not going to say I never applied.
Okay, there you go. Well, man. Okay, so how long were you at Acadian Ambulance for?
Acadian Ambulance, I think I was there 3.5 or 4 years. I was there for a while. And then I had my daughter, and then I ended up going home for about 2 years.
And so about what time was this?
That was 2012.
Okay.
I had her. Don't ask me because I forget her birthday.
Yeah.
It must be a second child thing. My husband fusses all the time.
All right. So where I'm going with this is I'm trying to figure out at what point did you go from, working at Stellar, shipping and receiving, working at Acadian Ambulance, doing billing, to becoming the president of the Broussard Chamber of Commerce? Because that feels like an interesting path. It's kind of zigzaggy in the way it looks.
Yeah.
So your role in the Chamber of Commerce is relatively new, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been there since 2019. So I've been there it'll be 6 years in January.
So what role did you play in when you first started?
So when I first started, I was basically over just membership.
Okay.
I was doing membership, and then I kind of took on financials a little bit because I had been in the billing world. So I took on accounts receivables and payables and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, right up your alley.
Yeah. I'm from Generette, so I have good work ethic. So you just got to tell me what to do, and I'll get it done.
Dude, I love it. Okay, so you're sticking it out at the Broussard Chamber of Commerce, obviously. I guess, how did you see your future there? Like, obviously, you've been in other places. I don't know the reasons for leaving any of the other places. I mean, a lot of times for people, it's pay. They want better pay. Why the Chamber of Commerce? That seems like such an interesting path when you worked at Stellar and Acadian Ambulance, these big arguably like Fortune 500 type of companies. Yeah. And now you're a chamber of commerce, which is not necessarily a company. It's just as an organization of sense. But tell me about that. Like, what was your thought process going into the chamber?
So I love people. It actually started out, so I was at the Youngsville Chamber for 2 years prior to the Broussard Chamber of Commerce. I was the only employee there. I was kind of putting on their events and managing their membership as well. And I think that made me realize that there's a lot of businesses that don't understand what a chamber does. And I felt like I could be that voice. And you may not even know what a chamber does. And I think it's a millennial stereotype. Because once the younger generations come in, they don't know what a chamber does. They don't want to renew their membership because they don't know. So basically, the chamber is a champion.
Just ribbon cuttings, right?
Yeah, just ribbon cuttings.
Yeah.
People join for the ribbon cutting and then don't rejoin.
Well, that's probably true.
They think that's all we do. No, but we're a champion for all of our small businesses, our large businesses, anyone that's been there, just opened, or for 30 years. We want everyone to succeed. We want them to grow and develop in Broussard and stay in Broussard, bring families to Broussard, have that close-knit community. And while they're doing that, they can build their own network. So we put on networking events. We put on women's events. We put on luncheons. We put on breakfasts where you can come in from Lafayette and meet other businesses that may be in Broussard and outside the Broussard community. So you can grow your business that way as well and build your network of people that can refer you, and you can refer them and grow business that way.
Okay. So I'm familiar with something that sounds similar.
Okay.
And I'm going to provide you the ability to tell me why they're different. We do have a couple more comments. Tyler Rogers says, "That's the bell lady."
I just went visit. I just went visit and rang his bell obnoxiously.
Oh, that's okay. Got it. And then Clyde Davis waves. Okay, so what you're describing just now sounds like a BNI group.
Okay, so the difference between us and a BNI is a BNI can only have one representative from a certain industry. So if you're a realtor, they're not going to have more than one of those. And that may be a bad example, but they're not going to have more than one industry in that BNI group.
Okay. And so the chamber does allow for not, would it be unlimited or just like whoever wants to join?
Whoever wants to join. So if you think about it this way, you may have someone who's in commercial real estate, right? And then you have an individual realtor that comes in. They can refer business to each other. That way you can meet them at our events and have that contact moving forward. Okay.
So what else? What else does a chamber do? So you got your ribbon cuttings. You sign up. Businesses are like, ooh, I'm opening. Going to get a ribbon cutting. Get the big scissors. That gets done. The ribbon cutting starts to kind of come to a close. Everybody gets their little hors d'oeuvres, their little snacks, and all that good stuff. And then they go back to their jobs, their offices. What happens after that for a business that signs up? What type of communication do you guys do with them? Like, what are the benefits that, obviously with the networking is a great benefit. Yeah. And the ribbon cutting is good exposure initially. But like, what's there to help keep that business engaged and keeping them feeling like there's potential for success in their business?
So we have a few things we can do. We do member spotlight videos. So Katie Lopez Harris, who used to work for KTC, actually works with me now.
Nice.
She'll go out and she'll interview and get a member spotlight video. So she may have a 10-minute conversation with you and break it down into a minute and a half, have video of the store or wherever she may be to help you promote your business. So that's another membership benefit. You'll receive our newsletter twice a month. We increased it to twice a month so that way people don't have to scroll. No one likes to scroll.
Yeah.
So they can see everything we have. They also get the opportunity to sponsor our events. So all of our membership base, they're the only ones who can sponsor our events. So I'll give you a great example, and it may bring us right into 4th of July, but we put on the Independence Day Festival in Broussard. So we put on quality of life events for the city. that event brings 10,000 people into the park. So if you want your sign at St. Julian Park for 4th of July, there's going to be over 10,000 people there. So that your logo is going to be on our advertising, depending on which sponsorship level you choose, and that is for members only. We don't go outside of membership to find those sponsorships. So that's another benefit that you get with that. Yeah.
Wow. All right. That is truly exclusive.
Yeah. So we have networking sponsorships. We have a whole array of ones that you can choose from, like Tyler that's commenting. He's actually a member of ours. Catalyst Accounting Solutions. He was our networking sponsor for our luncheon. So that gives you the opportunity to stand up in the front of a room of 100 to 150 people and tell them what you do, because you won't be able to talk to that many people in the 30-minute networking time. So it gives you an opportunity to get yourself in front of other business leaders and owners.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. We kind of skipped a little bit ahead and jumped to some of the more juicier content, but I want to go back a little bit to your progression of your career. So, in starting in the membership role, at what point did you see yourself moving in the direction that the president position would be something that you'd fight for?
So originally I never wanted that position,
if
we're going to be honest, because I didn't want to be the one who is out selling, I guess.
Okay.
So I was always behind the scenes.
And now you're front and center.
Ultimately, the only change in my job is me coming out and doing things like this, meeting with members, selling the chamber. Like, I was doing all the behind the scenes with stuff like that, right? So I guess I'm not a salesperson, but from what I gather, I'm a kind of a salesperson without being one. And I think I've learned too that it's about the quality of relationships that you build with people. So they remember you, and if you have that quality relationship, they'll want to support you.
Yes, there is a lot to be said about that in relationships and building that. So before we get too far, I do want to go ahead and get my next sponsor in. And so that is the Music Academy of Acadiana. So while you're sticking around, the Music Academy of Acadiana, they are a top choice for music school in the Acadiana area. They're founded by UL Lafayette Music School graduate Tim Benson, who is also in a screamo early 2000s alternative rock cover band called The Criers. So if you are in that generation that we are in, 30s, and even some of you guys are in your 40s, your Generation Xers, you may dig that, but he has founded this school, and they teach tons of students. Lots of people that I've interviewed have their kids enrolled here, which is wild, because anytime I talk about it, there's like somebody's like, oh yeah, my kid goes to the Acadiana Music School, Acadiana, blah, blah, blah. Acadiana Academy, Music Academy of Acadiana. I am getting my words mixed up. Anyway, Tim's going to forgive me. He's cool. But they teach in piano, guitar, drums, violin, saxophone, flute. Even they help you improve your voice. They, teach audio production. So if you want to be behind the scenes and not front and center, like a musician typically is, you can help the music sound better by audio production. But yeah, they've appeared in major music competitions like American Idol and The Voice. So that's really cool. Ultimately, their music, yes. Their goal is to make music lessons fun, educational, and to help foster the next generation of musicians and creative thinkers. And you can check them out at musicacademyacadiana.com. It's on your screen. It's in the caption of the video. So check them out and send them some love. All right, I am my thoughts are running all over the place, and I'm sitting here like getting tongue-tied a lot. Okay, so we're talking about relationship building, and this is just my own personal experience having to learn to sell. Growing up, I despised salesmen.
Same.
I still kind of do.
Same.
But it's a particular type of salesman.
Why is it always like a used car salesman is what we refer to them as?
Because
Why does it have to be a used vehicle?
I don't know.
They sell the same, right?
I know. I think you know what? I think it's a old world thinking of, the haggler and trying to feel like you're not trying to be weaseled and slimeballed by a guy who has slick hair, a nice suit, and trying to get money out of you.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you mentioned car salesman, because I interviewed Bob Giles, and I asked him that question of like, how is the car industry changing? And, salespeople and like people like CarMax, you don't get sold to. You have a person that helps you, but they don't make commission. And so, or at least not that I know of. So there's no haggling. But at a traditional car dealership, like most of the others, there's this sense of being able to haggle a little bit, budge on the price, or at least perception is that you can haggle. And he had a great response. He said, we don't tolerate, that old world thinking of salespeople. We teach our salespeople how to approach someone and build a relationship and understand what they want. He said, and also this got me, and we'll get to this point later. He said, we don't hire other car dealership salespeople. If you've worked at a car dealership outside of Giles, chances are we won't hire you. They want to
train them coming in.
They want a Giles salesperson, not a XYZ salesperson who might have had bad practices going into Giles. Yeah. They want to train someone up from the bottom. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool. That's risky because you got to start with a whole crew of people who are beginners, essentially, to work them up. But so going back to salespeople, growing up, I did not want to be a salesperson. I was like, I don't want to do that. I feel weird. I'm not that type of person to be, not to say aggressive, but to be assertive and to like claim my ground of why you should buy this.
That's ultimately what intimidated me about being president or being the face of the chamber.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. It's like it's so much pressure.
Yeah.
But what I found, and you alluded to this, is especially in this area, and I think for the most part everywhere in this country and to some degree in the world, is when you get to know somebody genuinely, not to try to sell them, but like you get to learn who they are and like what they do, and you ask questions about what they do, and you're genuinely curious about what they do, and you build this relationship and this rapport with someone before you engage in trying to sell them. It's almost as if you've created this friend that says, hey, now I feel like I do want to support you, and you actually have something that I need. And it's like the transaction just works, and typically that client, that person that you've built that relationship with, stays with you for years. And it's really cool. It's like every sponsor that we've gotten over the past few years, we started in 2012. And and in the early days, I was really trying to get sponsors. So I was just sending like spray and pray kind of emails, get nothing back. But whenever I started meeting with people, and not meeting with them with the intention to sell, but just meeting with them to talk about their business, all of a sudden I would say, hey, and if you're interested, I have sponsor spots and I'd love your support and I'd love to like work with you on doing something. And then the conversation would just open up. I'm like, that was easy. And then lo and behold, we're getting a check from them and we're putting sponsor stuff together and, graphics. And I'm like, that felt different.
So I've been in this position. I was officially named, I guess, about a month ago, but I was interim before that since March. And that was my ultimate goal, was to meet with members that we don't touch very often, see what their business does, and tell me what they want out of the chamber. And that's what we do with prospective members as well. Tell me what you're hoping to get out of your membership. Because if I tell you what we can do, that may not fit what you even want.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you're having a member that's going to join, but they're not going to renew because they don't see the benefit in it. So that's kind of how I start the conversation, is tell me what you think the chamber does and what you're hoping to get out of this relationship. So it can be two-sided.
I agree. That's an interesting question to tell someone about the chamber, because it also gets a little confusing with one Acadiana. who was formerly the Greater Chamber of Commerce of Lafayette, and has adopted this name back, I think early 2010s era of One Acadiana, which essentially encompasses like 8 or 9 parishes, and ultimately has become like this conglomerate of like, hey, we're a chamber for Lafayette, but we're also like the support of something for other chambers, which I find interesting, and I want to know your perspective on how that relationship works, and how does One Acadiana and the Broussard Chamber of Commerce work together, and is there a working relationship there? What does that look like?
Yeah. So One Acadiana is, I think they're over the region of Acadiana. So basically what they do is if they get a business that calls them because they don't know where to go, they may join One Acadiana, but One Acadiana is also like, well, hey, your business is in Broussard. Have you reached out to Broussard? So they'll get them to join our chamber. If there's a ribbon cutting in Broussard, we'll host that ribbon cutting. If it's in Lafayette and they're a member of One Acadiana, we'll reach out to One Acadiana and let them host it, but we'll show up kind of situation. We go to each other's events. It's they feed off of us and we feed off of them kind of thing. We share information. We share resources.
Okay, so there's actually a real life working relationship. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Because you don't, on the surface, you don't see it. You just hear One Acadiana, and it's like, the whole term is Acadiana is one, if you think about it in a reverse sense. But to the person that's on the outside that is not involved in the chamber and One Acadiana or any of the chambers around the area, you really just don't see any of the happenings besides the ribbon cuttings, which is like the most public thing that you see. And if you are a part of the chamber, obviously you see things, but on the outside, or like a prospective business that has heard of a chamber before, because I was little and I knew I've heard of a chamber of commerce, and I thought it was like this government entity and this and that. And that's a good question I'm gonna ask you after this, is like, what is it technically? But yeah, to know how things work, especially with One Acadiana, is really cool, because we're different around here. I don't know why Acadiana, the Lafayette area, feels like we have to be so tight knit. Like the consolidation thing with Lafayette and all the the parish and all the cities, that's been a fascinating thing. And some say it's good, some say it's bad. A lot of people say it's bad. I don't know, but yeah. So, what is the chamber in itself? Like, is it a nonprofit? Is it a business? Is it a government entity? What technically is it? So
the chamber is a nonprofit 501c6.
Okay.
But we also have a chamber foundation that is a 501c3.
Got it. Okay, foundation. Makes sense.
Yeah, so a 501c6 is basically governed by its membership.
Got it.
Where a 501c3 is not.
Interesting. All right. Okay. Hey, cool. I guess I've always kind of thought it was like a government entity. That's just
and we don't want to get into the taxes of it all because we don't want to bore the crowd. But
right.
That's another, like a 501c3. If you donate money, that's a tax write-off. Where a 501c6, it is not.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's not bore with that kind of talk, because that's not fun. What is fun though is talking about growth of Broussard. There is a lot happening in Broussard area. What are some of the things that has happened in the past 6 months to a year in Broussard that's on the top of your head? It's growth-wise. So, like, what has Broussard seen?
That would be a great city question.
Be a great city question?
Yeah, because I don't really know what I'm supposed to say and what I'm not supposed to say on things like that, and what's going to be new and not new. And
well, okay, I'll help you. I guess I'll help you guide this, because I don't want to put you in a precarious position. So the safe source supply.
Yeah.
That has been a big thing.
Yeah.
I went through Leadership Lafayette last year. Best class ever, as they say. And we toured that facility, and I was blown away that we would even have something like this here.
Broussard.
It feels like something that should be in the Lake Charles area, Sulphur, with all the manufacturers and the refineries. It feels like that type of atmosphere when you typically when you come to the Lafayette Parish area, you expect to see more food-related businesses. You know, you got Best Stop in north of the parish that has this big facility. They're growing leaps and bounds. And then you have this refinery that comes in. Of course, the oil field, we all know the oil field is a thing here, but this manufacturing facility with medical supplies comes into Broussard, and there was a lot that had to go into getting this company and the partnerships to be made to build this in the Broussard area.
Yeah.
Do you know any of the tidbits on how that may have happened and like any? Because I mean that seems to be the more public thing to talk about.
Right. So we actually work very closely with our Economic Development Corporation. I believe Broussard right now is leading the state in certified sites. So what that means is the state comes out and basically looks at this property and gets it build ready so that the buyer doesn't come in and have to start from scratch. So they go through, they make sure there's no pipelines, no swampland, and they get the property ready to sell. So the property that Safe Source is on was actually a certified site that was listed nationally in the site certifications, and that's how they found Broussard.
So is all the infrastructure pre-ran too, like fiber and all the sewer and all that stuff?
So the energy companies do come in and they help with a portion of what the costs are to get the property ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a huge partnership between us and the energy companies and Slimco, and it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. And then you got St. Julian Park. That was a big deal. I did a lot of drone footage of that whenever it was coming. And that was, 2017-ish? 2018, whenever it got finished, give or take. And that's where your 4th of July Independence Day celebration is.
Yes.
And then before that, before St. Julian Park, I remember sitting in the Home Depot parking lot.
Yep.
And watching fireworks from an undisclosed location just come out of the tree line. And I'm like, where's the fireworks coming from? But it was really cool. And now I've been through several of the celebrations at St. Julian Park. And it's really cool to sit on the turf. It's nice and cool. Typically, if you're going in like a sunset area, it's just a good event, and there's like tons of things for the kids to do. So I don't want to take the thunder. I want to go ahead and let you strike on that. So tell us a little bit about this 4th of July celebration and what can people expect. Is there anything new? Obviously, you said there's 10,000 people that come to this, which is pretty much the size of Youngsville, a little bit smaller than Youngsville, but a lot of people.
Yeah. So first of all, if you have not been to St. Julian Park, please do yourself a favor and go. I used to call it the Jurassic entrance. Like it looks like Jurassic Park whenever you drive in. But it's beautiful. It's huge. They have hills, like even the walking trail. You're not just walking in a constant circle. Like you have hills, you have the ponds, you have scenery. If you go super early in the morning, you can see the rabbits and actual wildlife. So leading into that, 4th of July. We've been planning this event. I've been planning this event. I think this is my 6th or 7th year planning this event.
Wow.
We have kids activities. So you'll have anything from the obstacle courses that are 95 feet long to cornhole to we actually have the fire truck that comes out and sprays the kids. So the fire truck is out there. They have the ladder up and they're spraying the kids on one of the fields. So they have the splash pad, they have the playground, we have live music on one side, a DJ for the kids, concessions, food trucks, you name it. And then our wonderful Don's Automotive Fireworks Show at 9 o'clock.
So that's who sponsors the fireworks show? Yeah. And that's a Broussard Chamber of Commerce member?
They are.
There you go.
They are, and we love them.
All right. So tell me about the fireworks itself. That is typically a very expensive endeavor. I mean, just going buying fireworks for yourself at home can get costly. I know you can buy one of these all-inclusive firework packs from these fireworks stands, and they can get anywhere from $100 to $400 or more. And you have to light each individual one yourself. With these bigger shows, it's all wired up. It's a very technical process. So what is there a particular company that sets this up that does all of the mechanics and the wiring? Like, talk through a little bit about how the firework part of this event goes down.
Yeah. So we get a huge support from the Broussard Fire Department. They work directly with Pyro Man, who is actually the one who comes out and brings the fireworks. So they
Great name. Pyro Man.
Right. So they put a flatbed trailer in the field and they load all the shells, and there's different sizes. So depending on the size of the shell, depends on the distance from people or gas or anything that they have to be away from. So the fire department helps us handle all that. Once those shells are loaded, they have to shoot them. So rain or shine, the fireworks are going.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know, because I was like, what happens if you do get rained out?
Yeah.
They're still got to pop.
They still got to,
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, it's live rounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. And what is the typical span of time do these shows last? Like once the first pop goes off to the last pop, like how many minutes?
So because I put on these events, and so I do from start to finish for these events, right? So I'm booking the portalettes and I'm booking the fireworks guy.
Good Lord.
So I time it. And for the past 6 years, it's been anywhere from 18 to 22 minutes.
That's a while, man. That's a lot of popping.
It's so awesome. It really is. I record it every year. I don't know why. I see it's the same every year, but it's amazing. And we hear that from everybody. Like, you don't get fireworks like this anywhere else. It's a long time.
I know whenever we first moved here, like I said, I live in Carencro. I moved here in the North Lafayette, Carencro area. And before Amazon was here, the old Evangeline Downs racetrack, they would pop fireworks there. Yeah. And so I don't ever remember getting a flyer of like, hey, we're popping fireworks. I just knew, around this time of year, typically there's going to be some popping happening at some point. And it's like from 2010 to 2013, 14-ish, they would do this show, and like I'd be in my apartment complex, and all of a sudden I'd start hearing the percussion going off, and you can feel it in your chest. It's deep. And then we get in our car and we go drive, and like there's nowhere to park. You just parked on the side of the interstate at that point, and it was so cool to watch. But you guys have this huge park where it is super safe to just go to this park, bring out your little lawn chairs, and just sit and hang out, let the kids run around because it's all gated with the fields and everything, and let them play in a splash pad. And then you got this fireworks show that can't be replicated at home. You really can't.
No. And our police department is out there, so they make sure logistically everything works well with the parking lot. The food trucks are faced towards the grass, so no one's waiting in line in the parking lot as traffic's going through. We do overflow into soccer. So there's both sides of St. Julian Park.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's probably a good 3/4 of a mile from soccer side to baseball side. So we do provide.
We've had to walk before.
Yeah. So we do provide shuttle service. So we
cool.
have 6 to 8 seater golf carts that'll be out there that'll shuttle you from one side to the other.
Yeah.
And if you want to walk and see the scenery, there's a walking trail that'll bring you to the baseball side too.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a dumb question or not.
There are no dumb questions.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that this does not happen because I feel like this is something that happens anytime there's fireworks involved. Pets. I'm pretty sure pets are not allowed.
No pets.
Okay.
No pets, no coolers, no...
Okay.
Bring your chair, bring your blanket,
Can you bring your tumbler?
You can bring your tumbler.
Okay, all right. Well, no cooler. No cooler.
No cooler.
All right,
They won't stop you from going in with your tumbler. It's 104 degrees outside.
Yeah, you need hydration.
Yeah, you need hydration. We don't check what's in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but
no
coolers,
outside food or beverages.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right. So you don't bring a 12-pack of anything?
No, don't bring a 12-pack. So actually, Bon Ton is out there. They run the concession stand. So that day they have margaritas, they have the seltzers, they have beer, they have anything you could possibly imagine. Of course, stuff for the kids, but they have everything you need. So
Bon Ton Grill? Okay, cool. Those are good guys, man. Yeah. Are they going to have food there too, or they just...
Yeah, so they run the concessions at the park.
Cool.
So they have their food. They set up remote stations so that way there's not a huge line from the concession stand. So we have remote concession locations there, and we also have, I think, 5 food trucks that'll be in the parking lot as well.
What food trucks?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
No.
I thought you booked them.
Well, Bonton handles the food trucks.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that way he's not getting anybody in that's going to compete with what they sell.
Yeah.
Because we don't want everybody selling hamburgers.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know Emmy's Ice Cream will be out there.
Okay, that's good, man. Fancy ice creams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kona Ice. That's the two I'm 100% sure about.
And the Kona Ice, man, it's like the music's playing, and then of course kids pass the truck like, oh, I want it. I'm like, well, can we wait?
Yeah.
All right, so this is a fun event. I love the show. You mentioned recording the fireworks. I know that's such it's such a weird thing to do, to record fireworks, because I'm past couple of years, anytime there's fireworks involved, I see people creating memes. Going, oh yeah, here we go, another year of seeing everybody's crappy videos of fireworks. I'm like, dang it, I feel seen at this moment. I recorded the fireworks show, especially as soon as Julian. I recorded it one year. I even live streamed it on my Facebook page on DL, and a few people watched it, and I was like, why aren't more people watching this? This is so cool. But the thing is, you can't get the feeling through the phone. You can hear it. Yes, it sounds loud. But when you're sitting on that turf and those first few go off, it is just in your chest. And
I think for me, I'm a music person, like live music, period.
Yeah.
That's like my love language. We have it timed so perfectly. So at 8:45, we coming over the intercom saying, grab your kids, grab your wife, grab all the things, get where you need to be because the lights are going off. So at 8:58 is when we start the national anthem. And then that way, as it's ending, is when the fireworks start, and we have the playlist of music that goes along with it.
Wow.
So it's all a feel, right?
Yeah,
at the end of the day. So it's not just fireworks. It's the feel of it all.
Yeah, and then once it's all over, once that last pop, then that is the mad dash to try to figure out how to get out of the parking lot.
Yes, it is. But so we've gotten it. I think the first year we did it, it took 45 to 50 minutes to clear the parking lot. And the past few years, it's taken less than 30 minutes. So you may feel like you're sitting in your car for a while, but it's really not that long, because what they do now that the overpass is there, they contraflow traffic. So you have to get on 90 going towards Lafayette, and then you can turn around and come back if you need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
We got it figured out.
Yeah, they have the flow. Man, I love it. I can't wait for it. I'm going to try to make sure we go this year. I think the past year or two, we have not been able to make it due to one reason or the other. But I definitely want to go this year, because now that he's older, because there was a time where he would be afraid. My kid's over here making fart sounds with his mouth.
It's not me, I promise.
And if it was, I wouldn't say anything. So there was a few years whenever Bennett was younger that the fireworks were just too loud. He needed, to cover his ears, or he needed ear protection. And we did get some after the first couple of times we've used fireworks. And but now he seems good. He wants to start off with the headphones at first, and then he realizes it's not that bad. And
some of them are way louder than others.
Yeah,
it just depends.
Yeah. But he enjoys it. He likes popping fireworks now. Obviously, he's not going to be popping the ones at Broussard, but and I think he'll be good to bring. And I'm excited for the event.
We hope you'll come out.
It is. So did we talk about the exact day that this is happening?
It is on July 4th.
Oh, so like
Thursday,
it's the
July
day.
4th, yes.
Yes, all right, man.
Yep. Gates open at 5. There's actually no gates, so it's open.
Okay. So when can people get there? Like, how early can someone just set up?
Normally, people start getting there about 4:30-ish to kind of get their spot. It is hot, so some people do wait a little later till the sun starts going down, but live music starts at 6 o'clock in the Red Pod. Kids' activities start at 5, so that's the DJ, the face painting, the splash pad, the fire truck cool down. So they have all the things that they can do starting at 5.
I can't imagine 10,000 people.
Yeah. So they ran an AI report last year for a 1-mile radius. And I mean, you got to consider the residential areas and that kind of stuff. And it goes off a cell phone. So within a 1 mile radius, there was 21,000 people. So that captures the Home Depot parking lot, that captures Yabo's, that captures all that, because people park all along the road right there.
Yeah, some people don't bother with the traffic of getting into the park.
Not everyone comes into the park. So you got to think we have anywhere from 8 to 10,000 people in the park, and then another 8 to 10 outside the park.
Sitting on their patio, their porch, watching the fireworks show.
We have friends that live not even a half a mile away, and the whole neighborhood sits in their driveway to watch them. So.
Dude, yeah. It's definitely an experience. Anytime there's like a good fireworks show, we try to stop and watch it or go to it if at all possible. But this has been great. We're at 45 minutes exactly, and we did not find any lull in the conversation. And I think that you were thinking that you didn't have enough to talk about, or at least to get to the 45-minute mark. I know some people, like we talked about earlier, some people can go an hour and a half. I'm like, I want to go somewhere. I want to go eat lunch. Like usually it's politicians that do that, or people that really, really have a lot to say. And when given the platform, they will just spill it. Yeah. And I have a little boy, he gets antsy. And I'm
a woman of very little words. Don't ask my husband, but I think so.
Well, cool. This has been great. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to talk about? We talked a little bit about quality of life, a lot about the chamber and how that works, a lot about how your career progressed and how we graduated at the same year. Is there anything that we didn't touch?
No. I mean, if you want to join the chamber, give me a call. If you want to hear about the chamber, give me a call. The office number is 337-837-6001. You can reach me at Lacey@broussardchamber.net. If you need more information, let me know. Shout out to my board because they are very supportive. I have at least one of them reaching out to me every day to see how they can support me. So we have a board of 13 that are basically my bosses. So they're all amazing. So we couldn't do this without them for sure.
And then if you want to learn more about the chamber, like Lacey said, you can give her a call the office, or email her. And then also you can go to their website, broussardchamber.net, and you can explore their website there, find out all about the memberships and what's involved, upcoming events, lots of stuff. So really cool. I like Broussard. Broussard's a really cool town. It's right on. I would say I want to call it the interstate. It's not quite the interstate yet, but it feels like it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because
it'll be the I-10 corridor that passes through
the future I-10 corridor of whenever this happens.
Yeah.
Through Lafayette anyway, the Lafayette connector. That's a whole nother thing. But you guys have definitely prepped for that with that overpass. I know that was a lot of work, and you still have a lot of work going down closer to the Ambassador intersection. Yeah. But let me tell you, that overpass has been really nice because it's smooth and you can get underneath it pretty nice. It feels like a Texas overpass.
Yeah, I think that's what the one by the zoo is going to look like too.
Okay,
so,
wow.
Yeah, that one's going to be huge.
Crazy. Yeah, so it's gonna be a great asset for Broussard and especially the growing community there. Tons of businesses that are still in the works for Broussard, and we talked about some. But Lacey, I hope you have a great weekend, and I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I hope we see y'all at 4th of July.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I might not see you there, but I'll definitely be there because I know my little boy is going to like it. And the past few years that we have gone, it was a great experience. And it didn't feel like that many people, but I'm guessing it was. I don't know. It's wild. But we do plan on going, and I look forward to the event. I'm going to see all the work that's involved. Of course, we'll be able to see it firsthand. Yeah. But you'll be busy, I'm sure, running around.
Not at all.
Really? Okay.
No, I am.
Okay. well, I was like,
the good thing is everything's pretty much done that day. So we do have a VIP section for our sponsors and stuff that I kind of manage, but all of it pretty much runs itself once the day gets here. So
cool.
Pretty cool.
All right. Well, that is all I got. Thank you guys for listening. Lacey, thank you for coming on, and thank you for your time. I'm pretty sure it's lunchtime, so I'm pretty sure you're going to go grab a bite, just as my little boy and I are going to do. But again, have a great weekend, and thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, that is it. We'll see you on the next one. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And anyway, y'all have a great weekend.